With this week's astrology, there may be a plot twist or several, but what I can say is that you're gonna like where the plot of your story is taking you with this week's Magic Monday. Hi, my name is Haley Comet, and welcome to Just Your Magic Monday, particularly your Magic Monday astrological forecast for the week of May 13th to May 19th, 2024. But on my channel, you will find forecasts for every other week of astrology as well. And what we do here on Magic Monday is that we gather in my cosmic corner of the internet with a cosmic beverage in hand to discuss not just how the astrology is showing up within our world within the week ahead, but furthermore, how we can bob and weave with the astrology, how we can co-create with the cosmos, how we can utilize these universal cycles and themes in order to live with more alignment and more magic. That's why it's called Magic Monday. And this week, in navigating your universe with maximum magic, maximum alignment, it's important to allow yourself to be surprised. Be surprised by yourself, be surprised by the universe. And that's because we have two Uranus conjunctions this week. And Uranus is fundamentally the planet that governs a deviation from the norm, the expected, the conventional. So there is this electric current in the week ahead where anything could happen. There's a spontaneous feeling when it comes to this week's astrology. And the interesting thing about Uranus is that sometimes the call comes from inside the house. Sometimes we are the unpredictable parts of Uranus transits. Like with the Sun-Uranus conjunction on May 13th, you may find that you're wanting to disrupt the norm around how other people see you or perceive you. Around, I know you see me just this way, but I'm wanting to rebel against that projection. There are new sides of myself that I'm wanting to explore and shine out. There's new sides of my creativity that I'm wanting to display. You can find you feel more restless in the week ahead, wanting to shake things up, wanting something different, wanting to be more spontaneous. Sometimes Uranus energy comes from inside the house. But sometimes the Uranian call comes from outside the house. Like your life might be what's feeling unpredictable, what's feeling a little bit more erratic, what's feeling a little bit more eclectic. And that's why it's important with this week's astrology to just stay open, to allow yourself to be surprised, to allow yourself to surprise yourself around tapping into new gifts that you're wanting to activate, new sides of your creativity you're wanting to explore, new desires you're wanting to take hold of. Allow yourself to surprise yourself. Allow other people to surprise you. If people are behaving a little strangely, or erratically or unpredictably, Uranus is the energy around to thine own self be true. Like allow people to be true to themselves, even if it's not what you were necessarily expecting from them. Allow people to disrupt how you perceive them with this energy. And allow life to surprise you. We have an energy around moving forward this week. Mercury clears its post-retrograde shadow. So Mercury is heading into new territory of the sky. So we could feel like we have clearance to move into a new chapter of our own. And with the energy of Uranus, there's sometimes this feeling around anything can happen. I'm wanting to explore, I'm wanting to experiment. Does that mean that when I dye my hair purple, I'm gonna love it right away? Does that mean this person that I go on a date with who's so outside of my type, I'm going to marry? Does that mean this new interview that I say yes to is going to be my dream job? Maybe, maybe not. But Uranus energy reminds us we don't know unless we try. We don't create new results of our life until we're open to new sides of ourselves to show up, until we're open to new events, until we're open to new connections. There's a deep desire within this week's astrology to remain open, to allow yourself to surprise yourself, allow other people to surprise you, and allow life to surprise you. And it's important with this Uranian flavored week as we navigate Taurus season that you change your relationship to change. We're in Taurus season, which is a fixed earth sign, which typically is a sign that knows what it likes, that likes what it likes, and does what it likes. It's very consistent, it's very dependable, it's very reliable in that. But with Uranus transiting this sign, there is an opportunity to disrupt fixed grooves of behavior and to see change rather than something scary and something that's making you grip the seat of your chair as you're listening to this week's Magic Monday horoscope because you're like, Haley Comet, I don't like surprises. I don't like things that are unexpected. Hear me out. Change, surprises, plot twists, start to view these as opportunities. The opportunities to bring your desires to you. Last week we had the Taurus new moon. Make sure to check out that horoscope if you have not listened. For us to make those desires and those manifestations real, we do have to be open to new vehicles, to getting those manifestations to us, to new people, to new opportunities. See change as a vehicle for the universe to deliver you what it is that you want, even if at the moment it seems like something that you do not want. Like sometimes Uranus energy can make us feel a little ungrounded. It can make us feel a little all over the place. But what I can say when it comes to this week's astrology, because typically Uranus energy governs good surprises, bad surprises, surprises all over the map. The only core theme is that it's things that are unexpected. But what I can say when it comes to navigating this week of May 2024's astrology, it does feel like the surprises, even if they feel inconvenient at the moment, are setting you up. Like that mantra, if not this, something better, needs to be ringing in your brain as you navigate the week, because there could be canceled plans or something unexpected that happened. Continue to anchor into the knowledge the universe is aligning everything on my behalf. And the reason why I feel like everything is going to work out beautifully, even better than the initial plan was, is because over the weekend we have a Jupiter Cazimi, Sun conjoining Jupiter, as well as Sun sextile Neptune. So it does feel like surprises, disruptions to the plan that are setting you up for something better. Whether it's protecting you from something that you truly did not want to experience, even if you think you wanted to experience, the universe knows better than you and is like, you should not be going to that party. You should not be around that person. It's not the job for you. And again, your plan could have been like, but this is the party. This is the person. This is the job. The universe could be giving this unexpected deviation to your anticipated plan to set you up for something better. Or there's an energy around something spontaneous and unpredictable and novel could drop into your world this week that allows you to move forward in a new direction. But it's important to stay open to it. All of the surprises that the cosmos has in store. So we will discuss this week's astrology so much more in depth, thematically, as well as day by day. But before we do, take a step into my cosmic cafe. Let me know what you are sipping on to start your week. I would say my drink of choice is absolutely aligned with this week's astrology. This is an horchata cold brew with vanilla cold foam. I got it from Dark Horse Coffee, which is a coffee shop here in San Diego. If you know, you know. It was one of their featured specials. I guess it's a new drink that they just have launched. I'm such a sucker for that. If there's ever a seasonal drink, a featured drink, a special drink, that's absolutely what I'm going to get. And I have been burned. I just had a consultation pretty recently where I had ordered the strawberry pistachio latte, and it truly tasted like cough medicine. That wasn't at Dark Horse, that was elsewhere. So sometimes my desire to try something new burns me, but sometimes it works out beautifully. And that to me is Uranus wisdom. Yes, sometimes we say yes to a party invite where the party turns out to be a dud, or we try a new look that doesn't feel like us, or we open ourselves up to a connection that doesn't work out. But also, sometimes we say yes to a party invitation where we have the time of our life. Sometimes we try a new look that unearths this new cool side of us. Sometimes we open ourselves up to a connection with somebody who electrifies our worldview. We simply don't know until we try. And it's important to stay open. Yes, sometimes you have to suffer through a pistachio strawberry latte that tastes like cough syrup, but sometimes you score with a horchata cold brew with vanilla cold foam. You just don't know until you order. So be open to ordering something new when it comes to this week's astrology. We're going to go ahead and take it into Vibe Check of the Week. So if you are asking, well, what is Vibe Check of the Week? Vibe Check of the Week is a segment that we do here on Magic Monday where we essentially liken all of the energies that we will experience with this week's astrology, from the first quarter moon in Leo to Venus sextile Saturn to Venus aligning with Uranus. We compare what all of those astrologically represent to a real life scenario. This is not me saying that the exact scenario will play out. I'm just saying tune into the dynamics, the vibes, the emotions to figure out how this astrology may come to the surface within your world. So this week's astrology feels like the following scenario. We will say that you have this mutual on Instagram and you two have never met, but you followed each other for years and you just really like this person's vibe and energy. You guys have chit-chatted back and forth. You like one of their stories. You hype up one of their grid posts, and you have a lot in common. Like, you've posted that you liked a new album from a certain artist and this person was like, oh my gosh, that's one of my favorite artists. Or they had just posted that they're at this certain museum and you're like, oh my gosh, I was just there last week. What did you think of this exhibit? Like, you guys have a lot in common and there's a cool vibe even though you do not know this person that well. And we will say that one day you open up your IG and you have a DM from this person and this person says, hey, would you be down to hang out this weekend? And it was not what you were expecting. You just thought this little like digital friendship was going to continue on forever. But you're open, you're down. Like, with this energy of Sun, Uranus, and Mercury clearing the shadow, there's this energy around why not? Like, like Mercury clearing the shadow is very much giving this energy around like a new season of our life beginning. And with Sun aligning with Uranus and Venus aligning with Uranus, there can be some new characters that are introduced to the plot. And there's just this energy around, I don't know where this friendship's going to take me, but heck yeah, let's hang out this weekend. And with the energy of Venus sextile Saturn, it's like, let's make plans. So the two of you align that you're going to grab coffee, you're going to thrift, like you guys have built a day around your guys' mutual interests. And so the beginning of the week is filled with this anything can happen, this spontaneity. I mean, it disrupted what you thought you were going to do for the weekend, right? But you're open to it. But as the week continues, that excitement and that spontaneous energy begins to morph into fear and overthinking. And we see this reflected within this week's astrology with Mercury, who enters Taurus this week, squaring off with Pluto. So you start to self-sabotage. You start to ask yourself, what if this person meets me in real life and thinks I'm so lame? What if we hang out and they unfollow me as soon as they get home? What if they regret wasting a Saturday on me? And you start to get in your head around, what are we going to talk about? What do we even have in common? Like, this person is so cool. They're not going to have fun with me. They're just going to think I'm weird. Like, you're getting in your mind so much so that you almost want to cancel the plan. And you actually type it up like, hey, I'm not feeling well. So sorry. Can we reschedule for another time that you know will never happen? And you almost hit send. But then right before you do, you're like, wait, let's just go. It's one Saturday. This is just somebody who I know digitally. I've gotten great vibes online. Like, who knows? At the very least, I'll thrift some new stuff. I'll drink a coffee and life goes on. I cannot expect new results in my life if I keep on doing the same old, same old. A new character has been introduced within the TV show of my life. Let's see where this plot could go. It could go disastrously. It could go wonderfully, but I won't know until I go. So you decide to go, even though it makes you so nervous. You're overthinking what to wear and what to talk about. But as you show up to grab a coffee with this person, it's like all of those nerves just fall away and you two end up having the best day ever. You guys grab coffee, you guys thrift, you find some amazing random thrifted goods. You guys are having so much fun that you end up going out for lunch. This person is like, hey, I'm going to this party tonight. Do you want to go? And you get to meet their friends. It ends up being such a beautiful night. And you end the weekend just with this energy around, wow, I could have self-sabotaged myself from that fun day, from this new friend, just out of fear or fear of the unknown, or even just overthinking, looking towards the future with fear, that's the square to Pluto and Aquarius, rather than through this lens around anything can happen. I won't know until I get there. And that energy of having this amazing synchronistic hangout when everything goes right is symbolized by the Jupiter Cazimi over the weekend, as well as Venus conjoining Uranus, being open to new people, being open to new food, being open to new goods when you are thrift shopping. And with Sun sextile Neptune, just having this very dreamy synchronistic weekend where it just feels like things are aligning beautifully. Which again, if you let the overthinking win, if you let the fear win, you would have kept yourself from this new connection, from these amazing experiences. And so as you navigate this week's astrology, I'm not saying you're gonna open your Instagram and see a DM from a mutual who wants to hang IRL, but be open to new plans, be open to spontaneity, and it's going to be expected that with Mercury square Pluto, you could start to fear, like meeting someone and being like, when's it gonna go wrong? Maybe I should just self-sabotage now before it goes wrong, or even being open to new plans, a new hobby, a new class, and having fear around it, around what if at this new dance class, everybody makes fun of me? What if I launch this new offering and nobody buys it? It's really important to fuel the mindset of anything can happen rather than what if the worst happens? Like, fuel anything can happen, because with the energy of the Jupiter Cazimi, it just feels like there are blessings in store when we disrupt the norm. And for some of us, that's going to entail saying yes to spontaneous plans, taking a new class, doing something different, disrupting your routine. But for some of us, life might be switching up on you. You might have cancel plans. Something that you thought was going to work out may fall through. And with the energy of the Jupiter Cazimi, really allow yourself to align with the thinking, if not this, something better. Continue to fuel that worldview around the universe is aligning on my benefit. Even if at the moment this seems to be a deviation that I was not anticipating nor wanting, I'm continually investing in the mindset around everything is aligning for my highest and best good. The universe is pulling the strings and it sees everybody's intentions who are aligned. It sees my timeline, it sees my gifts, it sees my desires, and it is orchestrating things on my behalf. And my job is to trust in that and say yes to the avenues that are coming in this week to invite in a little bit more spontaneity, individuality, and fun into my week. So super excited to chat through this day by day. I want to let you know that I am located on the west coast of the United States. So when I deliver my forecast, it's always through the time zone PDT. So please adjust to your time zone if you are located elsewhere in the world. I also want to highlight that I have timestamps below for your convenience should you feel called to jump to a particular day or jump back to a particular day. I also tend to speak very fast, especially when I'm all hyped up with horchata cold brew with vanilla cold foam. So feel free to hit the gear icon to slow me down, to speed me up, however supports you in your Magic Monday listening experience. But without further ado, let's go ahead and take it into the astrology forecast for Monday, May 13th. So good morning, happy Monday, happy Magic Monday. Extra magical because today is the day that Mercury clears the post-retrograde shadow. So even though Mercury has been direct since the end of April, today marks the day that finally Mercury is heading into a new territory of the sky. And thus, you can feel like your life has the clearance to enter into a new chapter itself, emboldening new possibilities, new conversations, new characters entering the season of your life. Like there could just be this energy around feeling like you're genuinely able to move forward. And I want to let you know that this is cosmic green light energy. The shadow period is kind of like yellow light. It's not that you can't do anything, right? Just make sure to be discerning around it. With now Mercury heading into new territory, you have full clearance to make all the decisions, sign all the things, launch all the things. We have a waxing moon. We have Mercury in new territory. You've got cosmic clearance, my love, for whatever it is that you're wanting to launch or put out there. New conversations, new possibilities, new characters, right? Entering the season of your life. There's an emboldening of the new and the novel within our thinking, within our perspective. And that's also emphasized with the URANUS Cazimi, which lands very early on Monday. So you could have felt some of this Uranus energy baked into your Sunday, which was things that were unexpected, right? Happening within our external world. Plans that were canceled. Someone acting erratic, something unpredictable happening. Or this could show up within you around wanting to do something different. Just having this awareness around, if I keep doing what it is that I've been doing, I will keep getting what it is that I've been getting. So how can I disrupt the rut? How can I do something different? How can I be open to new things happening within the TV show of my life? Like, what would the viewers say if I've been still going back and forth with this ex? They would be like, come on, let's get some new plot points. Let's get some new characters. Let's get some new activities. I feel like it's so frustrating when you watch a TV show and the characters keep making the same mistakes over and over again. Maybe that's been you as of late. And the energy of Sun Uranus is like, I gotta switch things up. I'm getting bored of myself. I'm getting bored of myself. I'm getting bored of my life. It's time to do something different. It's time to shake up my life. So again, some of you could feel this energy around things around you, feel erratic and unpredictable and even unstable. And some of you are just like, I've got to do something different. I've got to shake something up because I got to change this plot. This plot is not working for me any longer. It's time for a plot twist. Either life's giving you a plot twist or you are enforcing your own plot twist. And this was the energy in the vibe check around getting this DM. You were not anticipating this DM. And it's so magical when you really rest within this knowledge. We talked about this within last week's Magic Monday as well, around anything can happen at any time. And it's important to remember that and really see every day as a vehicle for novelty and newness. Because a lot of times we can just feel like day in, day out, things aren't changing. It can feel very static, but things all around you are shifting and evolving and aligning. Anything can happen at any given moment in time. Think about the last nice surprise that happened. You likely opened your eyes that day, just going about it like it was any other day. But magic can occur, lightning can strike at any given moment. And sometimes these good surprises, it could be something big, meeting your soulmate, getting your dream job. Sometimes it's just something small around someone you really admire, asks you to hang out. A celebrity comments on your TikTok. Your barista tells you that you look beautiful today. Like, allow yourself to be surprised by life and empower yourself this week to look out through the lens of possibility. Because with this energy of Sun aligning with Uranus, it's important to be open to new, to allow new environments, new circumstances to come into your life. But it's equally important to allow new sides of yourself to be excavated, to shine out. Because you meet new sides of yourself when you interact with different people. You meet new sides of yourself when you step into new environments. You meet new sides of yourself as you take different classes. Like with the energy of Sun Uranus, it's emboldening all that you are and all that you have the potential to be. Like I would imagine that you likely wouldn't behave exactly the same as you would at the biker bar than you would at the opera. And the energy of Sun Uranus is like, there's this part of me that loves a good biker bar, and I didn't meet that part of me until I walked into the biker bar. Or there is this part of me that can absolutely blend in at the opera, and I didn't know that until I said yes to the opera invitation. It's not just about the circumstances and the plot points of our life showing up differently. It's also the new sides of ourselves that we meet. Because like I said, sometimes when we're in a rut, or we're going through something, sometimes there has to be a point where you just get kind of sick of yourself. You're just like, I'm sick of crying. I'm sick of doing the same old, same old. I've got to shake it up. I've got to meet some new sides of myself. I've got to try some new things. Not every class will be for us. Maybe we'll go to opera and be like, that is not for me. Maybe we try pink hair and we're like, nope. But at least we are actively unearthing potentials of who it is that we are through trying these novel, unpredictable experiences. You very well may learn something about yourself or unearth a part of yourself that you didn't even realize was there, right? So with Monday's astrology, there definitely could be things that are unexpected. And again, it's going to be a muscle that you work this week around, if not this, something better. If there is a surprise that to a surface level seems to be not ideal, continue to align to the Jupiter energy. If not this, something better. Like if a plan gets canceled, just align, well, better plans are going to come into my awareness. Or if you don't hear back from a job, continue to anchor into the knowledge around a better job is aligning for me. Like continue to work that muscle around these disruptions, these deviations from how I expected my week, my day to go, is setting me up for something better. And that's the mindset that I'm going to fuel. There also is this energy on Monday. We have Venus in Taurus sextile Saturn in Pisces. So this was the energy within the vibe check. Like the Uranus energy was the random DM. It was like a shakeup. That was not what you were expecting to see when you logged into Instagram that day. And with Venus sextile Saturn, this was like the going back and forth and making plans. And you know, sometimes when you're spontaneous, you say yes to something. Like at the time on Monday, that plan might look different, but then the closer you get to the actual plan, you might be like, oh my gosh, like you might start to feel a little bit more nervous. Like sometimes you can say yes to things, and when it gets closer, you're like, can I do this? Can I go thrifting and go get coffee with this cool person? But Venus sextile Saturn is the energy around wanting to make plan. Now for some, Venus is the planet of love. So with Venus sextile Saturn, there could be this energy coming in where you are wanting to ensure that you and your lover are on the same page. Could look like, are we on the same page around wanting to renovate the kitchen? Or are we on the same page around wanting to get married next year? Like aligning on future plans to allow you to feel more secure in the interim. For some, there could be this energy where you're like teetering on, are we going to commit and take things to the next level? Are we going to maintain our independence? And it's important that you are true to yourself in terms of what it is that you want and the future that you want to build. That's important, especially with Venus sextiling Saturn and aligning with Uranus. It's important to be honest with yourself and with others about what it is that you want, what it is that you value, what it is that you're looking for within a relationship, even if that disrupts what they thought you wanted or who they thought that you were. To thine own self be true. You have to be true with what it is that you want out of this experience. For some, I just feel this energy around, maybe you've been trying to project a certain thing, like it's all good, I'm good with how things are, but like secretly you're like suppressing what you actually want out of this relationship. Like this might be a week in which you're having to really be true to yourself around, hey, this is what my future looks like. Are you aligned with that? Or hey, actually marriage and commitment isn't something I want. I'm craving freedom right now. Like this might be a week in which you're wanting to get on the same page. But it's super important to bear in mind that choosing yourself will never disrupt the right connection for you. If you are being asked to project something that is not true to yourself in order to keep a certain connection going or to maintain a certain projection that someone has of you and for you, that is not your person. And with Venus aligning with Uranus later and sextiling Saturn, it's important that you're honest with yourself and what you want your future to look like, and to ensure that this connection is true to that vision, that you're not sacrificing yourself to maintain this connection. It just feels important to bear in mind. We'll talk more about that when it comes to Venus Uranus, but I just see the soft whisper with Venus sextile Saturn around getting clear on what it is that we want within a relationship, within partnership, even within just friendships, connections overall. This is the planet of money. So with Venus sextile Saturn, it could also be a really aligned time to budget, to allocate finances, to look at your finances very clearly. Keep in mind, Mercury is now direct. So if you were jealous in last week's Magic Monday, you want a bed of your own, like with Mercury in new territory of the sky and Venus sextile Saturn, you could get on a plan around how it is that you're going to put money towards that vision, or you could start doing research for it. Again, it doesn't have to be a bed. It could be any other significant purchase. But this is a nice, solid, stable energy to really set down the groundwork around where do I want my finances to go? What do I want my love life to look like? There's definitely this energy around just favoring consistency, things that take a long time, building a connection slowly and steadily. Like, it's important with this budding connection that's showing up within the vibe check. Like, it's important to take things slow, to allow the connection to just continue to blossom and bloom at its own pace. Being true to your own authenticity, allowing this person to be true to theirs as it continues to prosper. So there also could be themes of that weaving into your astrology. But like I said, the energy of Saturn asks us to think long term, think pragmatically. Yes, the energy of Sun Uranus, we could be feeling really restless or spontaneous, open to newness, open to new creative expression. But with the energy of the sextile to Saturn, there's this energy around, okay, how can I anchor in these changes that I'm craving? Or how can I make plans for the spontaneous, hangout to come into my awareness? Or how can I be true to myself as I communicate to my partner what I want from my future? Those could all be coming into awareness with Monday's astrology. So from a lunar aspect, overnight, the moon trined Neptune. So there could have been unusual dreams that you could be reeling from. Maybe they even have a message for you, right? With Mercury clearing the shadow on the same day. That is if you were able to sleep. Sometimes Uranus energy, because that exacted around 2 a.m., like Sunday night, you could have had a hard time sleeping. You could have felt kind of restless, but the moon enters Leo at 3:36 a.m. And with the energy of the Leo moon, it's a very creative, heart-centered energy. And the moon is now answering to the sun, who's separating from Uranus because that conjunction exacted earlier in the day. And so for my creatives, this is a great day to break the mold, to create something new and novel. The very energy of Uranus is about march to the beat of your own drum, rebelling via your art, via your creativity, doing something different that other people aren't doing. Like, the energy of Leo moon is all wanting to shine out what is authentic and true to ourselves and our heart. And with the energy of Sun Uranus, get a little weird with it. Get a little weird with it. And what I want to say is that it feels good to be acknowledged. It feels good to be adored. It feels good to have validation and flattery. Just be conscious where it is that you are hinging your own worthiness on it. And the reason I say that is because with the energy of Leo moon, we all like to feel flattered. We like to feel acknowledged. We like to feel appreciated. We like to feel seen. There's nothing wrong with that. That's human nature. But with the opposition to Pluto, there could be this endless loop that we're kind of feeling stuck in around, I feel good about myself if I get this many likes, and then if I don't get that many likes, I feel horrible about myself. Or I feel great about myself when the barista tells me I look beautiful today, but then when I went the next day and they didn't, I don't feel good about myself. Or it felt great when that person wanted to hang out with me, but then when they took 3 hours to respond, then I was fiending for their attention. Like I said, with Pluto retrograde, we do have this invitation currently to observe where it is that we are leaking our power out or hinging our validation on these external sources. Again, it's not demonizing ourselves for wanting to be admired, for wanting to feel flattered, for wanting to be seen. This is all beautiful. There's nothing wrong with it. It's just when it's not there, the energy of Pluto can go to obsessiveness around, does the barista not think I'm beautiful? Does this person change their mind about me? They don't want to hang out with me any longer? Do my Instagram followers hate me and that's why no one's liking my stuff? Like, where it sets you up in this loop around needing that validation in order to feel enough or order to feel good about yourself. Just important to be mindful of that. But other manifestations, it could just be this energy where your emotions can feel kind of intense on Monday. Moon opposing Pluto, Uranus energy, it could be hard to focus. You could feel kind of all over the place, potentially a little chaotic with the energy of Pluto. We'll talk about it. We have some Pluto energy building later this week too. With the energy of Pluto, sometimes we could be obsessed. Really ask yourself, is what I'm obsessing on right now, is it allowing me to show up more sparkly and more shiny, right, with the Leo moon? Or is it dimming my shine? Or is it siphoning my sparkle? Important to dive into that and just being conscious of the people, places, and situations that take your sparkle away, and being very intentional around pouring into the activities that charge up your sparkle. And with the energy of Sun Uranus, if you're not feeling very sparkly right now, invite something new into your day to charge up your sparkle. Plan a picnic, go to a museum, try something new, do something for the intention around charging up your sparkle, and call back your energy from anything that is siphoning your sparkle. And I want you to clue into that. Where is my sparkle being siphoned? Where is my sunshine being drained? And how can I call my power back from the people, places, and things that are draining my sunshine? For some, that's habits. For some, that's people. For some, that's environments. It's like, really listen to your energy when after you go to a certain place, or after you do a certain habit, or after you spend time with a certain person, you feel drained. You feel depleted. You feel exhausted. You do not feel sparkly any longer. Honor that wisdom. And I feel like that's coming through on Monday, because with Venus sextile Saturn, like I said, it's a very responsible usage of our Venus. We're wanting to be responsible with our money. We're wanting to be responsible with our love. We're wanting to be responsible with our beauty. And we're wanting to be responsible around what gives us pleasure in this life. And sometimes that means drawing back our energy from things that are draining us or depleting us. Like the energy of Saturn is dealing with our physical reality. And sometimes there can be an acknowledgement around, hey, I love this, but it is not supporting me in moving forward. Or I feel drained as a result, and it disrupts me from building what it is that I want to do when I'm spending time with this person or doing this habit or around this environment. But also with this energy of love, it's also being intentional. I don't want to say stingy, but it's being intentional around where we are pouring our love into, and if it is also pouring into us. If we feel like our sunshine is being siphoned into a black hole, whether that is via a person, a place, or environment, being conscious of when you leave environments and you feel like you leave them less sparkly than you were prior. And also noting the data, if you go into environments and you feel so amplified and hyped up after you leave, like that's great data to keep in mind. Because yes, Venus Uranus and Venus sextile Saturn could be this energy around new connections coming in that can stand the test of time. But maybe for some of you, it's this awareness around, I've got to disrupt this connection, because fundamentally, this is not a responsible usage of my love and my care that I'm pouring into you. Really being conscious of what's helping you build forward. That's the energy of Venus sextile Saturn, what's aligning for your worldview, as well as with Saturn. Sometimes there's this energy around needing to get real with ourselves, and observing with the Leo moon opposite Pluto, like who's not as happy for us as we are for them, or what habits take from us more than they are giving, or what environments make us feel so drained and depleted when we leave. It's so fascinating how energy works. I just spent time with someone pretty recently, and before I saw this person, I was feeling sparkly, I was having a good day, my vibe was high, I was being efficient, I was productive, I felt like I had a cute outfit, my makeup looked good, like the vibes were good. And then literally right after spending time with this person, I felt so drained, so defeated, so exhausted, so depleted. You know those hangouts where you're just sitting in your car, you can't even muster up the energy to drive home because you are just so exhausted. It just felt like every ounce of sparkle had been siphoned from me. And I'm not blaming this person, okay, but I do think it is important data to acknowledge when you leave certain environments or leave certain hangouts or what have you, and you just feel absolutely exhausted, absolutely drained. And it took a long time for my energy to balance out. Like it continued for the next 5 days. I was off my game. I felt like I did not look cute. I didn't feel as charming. I didn't feel as witty. I wasn't as productive. I also got a parking ticket. I don't want to blame that person for that, but what the heck? It just felt like a week where I was really off my game, and it just felt like my entire energy shifted after spending time with this person. And after I was finally starting to feel good, I was like starting to feel like myself again, this person had reached out and had wanted to spend more time with me and had specifically noted, and this is what made me start to think about it, has specifically noted, like, I've had such a great week, like seeing you at the beginning of the week, like put my week on such a great trajectory, the exciting thing happened at work, like everything was coming up roses in their world. And I was like, whoa, it felt so different in mine. And then as soon as I started to feel good, like this person was pulling on my energy, like, can I see you again? I was like, okay, there is something going on here. There is an energetic exchange. Again, I'm not blaming my bad week on this person. It was just interesting how much the vibe shifted, and to observe how it shifted so favorably in their direction and so unfavorably in my direction. And then as soon as it was starting to balance out, this person like wanted to take more of my energy from me. That's how it felt. I know that feels dramatic, but that was data where I was like, you know, with Venus sextile Saturn, I was like, this is not responsible usage of my love and my care. Like, I like this person, but not at the expense of me, not at the expense of feeling utterly drained and depleted after spending time with you. And just something to be conscious of, like when people expunge like your emotional energy or your sunshine with the Leo moon and use it for themselves, leaving you depleted, like that's not giving very Venus sextile Saturn. That's not giving a very responsible usage of our own love and care. So maybe the answer is boundaries. Maybe it's seeing that person less. Maybe there's an ask around observing which connections amplify your sunshine, right? I don't mean to be all Debbie Downer about this. Like the connections where after you see them, you both raise each other up, you both hype each other up, like really honor those connections. Those are the ones that stand the test of time with the energy of Venus sextile Saturn. But with the energy of Venus being in Taurus, just observe who is intentionally watering your garden just as much as you're watering theirs. Who is hyping you up as much as you are hyping them up? What environments you're pouring into that are also pouring into you? What habits you do that make you feel more sparkly and shiny versus the ones that make you feel more depleted? Just like honor that. With Venus sextile Saturn, it can help you to understand what is worthy of investment in terms of your heart, your money, your energy proceeding forward. And then that evening around 11:49 p.m., so many of us will be asleep, I just want to share that there is this passionate energy coming in through the cosmos with the Leo moon trining Mars. It'd be great for a late night workout or doing anything else that's physical that helps blow off steam, as well as just stepping this energy around. You know, you've got to advocate for yourself every so often. You've got to advocate for your sunshine. The energy of Leo moon, there can sometimes be energies around being loyal to a fault, spending time with people even if they're like siphoning your sunshine. And the energy of Leo moon trining Mars in Aries is stepping into that role around, I can advocate for myself, right? I can assert myself. I can, enact the boundaries necessary for my own emotional landscape. You can get a burst of motivation around creativity, around taking action towards something. So the astrology for Tuesday, May 14th. So the moon continues on in Leo all day long. You may feel, because the night prior we had that nice Mars trine, you may feel more motivated in the morning. Would be a great day for a workout class, especially when we consider that Mercury enters Taurus tomorrow. So for a majority of Tuesday, it is at the 29th degree, which does charge us energy of urgency. Working out to dispel some stress or some anxiety or even some frustration can be super helpful at this time, because with Mercury in Aries, especially hovering at the anaretic degree, our words can have a bite. We can really be a little bit more impulsive around telling someone how we really feel. Keep in mind, Sun Uranus is still separating in the cosmos, so we can be a little bit more unpredictable, a little bit more untamed. And with Mercury hovering at this degree, you could have kind of foot and mouth around, oh. So if you do want to tell someone off, all I'm saying is see if you still feel the same way after a long walk or after a kickboxing class or something of that nature. It might be important to ground down into your physical body. It's Taurus season before you allow your mouth to run rampant. But what I would say is I would grab hold of the beginning portion of the day, start the day on a motivating, positive, confident foot forward, listen to the music that hypes you up, do what makes you feel motivated and capable. It's important to highlight with Mars in Aries, like embolden trying things, being bad at things, just picking yourself up if it doesn't work out. Sometimes we keep ourselves from these Uranian experiences, like taking a class that would change our perspective or making a connection that would deepen our experience, because we are fearful of looking dumb. Like with Mars in Aries, it's like, whatever, you tried something, it didn't work out, keep going. With Mars in Aries, it's just emboldening beginner's mindset around the only people who will score are those who shoot. And sometimes you have to miss some baskets every so often. You got to dust yourself back up and keep going. And with the energy of Leo moon, you have to be so diligent about doing the things that charge up your life force energy, that feed you energy. Like I said, the prior day with the moon opposite Pluto, release things from your life that drain your energy. And this could be people, like I said, but it can also be activities, like just observing. Do you feel more drained after watching TV for hours versus, walking around the park? Like really start to tune in what gives me energy and what drains it. And with Leo moon trine Mars, be intentional around doing the things that charge up your life force energy, that make you feel like a baddie. Okay, we've talked about baddie playlists. Okay, have your baddie playlist in rotation, have your rituals that make you take on the day, right? I think the energy of Mars and Aries, it asks us to be a little bit more proactive rather than reactive around, no, I'm gonna show this day what I'm made of. I'm going to handle these sales calls. I'm gonna do the hard thing. Because keep in mind, Tuesday is Mars day. So there's an ask to be direct, to be assertive, to go after what it is that you want, to put your most confident foot forward rather than feeling, powerless to the world. Do what's intentional to charge up your magnetism, your life force energy. And I would grab hold of the beginning portion of the day because as the day continues, the Leo moon squares Venus, so you could start to feel a little bit more drained. Listen, watch it with the online shopping. Venus may be separating from reasonable Saturn, but with the energy of Leo moon square Venus and Taurus, this is giving very bougie. Like you could be like, I deserve the $3,000, bed sheets or these pink stilettos. It's like, I deserve this. And listen, you do. And Taurus season is about, creating a life that looks good, feels good, smells good, like a life that's enjoyable for you to live. But with this energy, especially with Mercury hovering at the 29th degree, you might be a little impulsive or bite off more than you can chew. Again, with Venus and Taurus, sink into what it is that you value, like what it is that you value within this experience and invest your money accordingly to that. If you value knowledge, like allow yourself to have a book budget where you buy books. If you value shoes, you're a shoe collector, there's nothing wrong with having a budget to save towards the pink stilettos, right? But it's just being intentional around what it is that you value so you can allocate your funds reasonably. But the Leo moon square Venus, sometimes we could be more indulgent, whether that's financially or food-wise or what have you. Again, life is meant to feel good, but just watch the excess. And then the evening around 9:29 p.m., the Leo moon trines Chiron in Aries, which is this energy around, it can be healing to step into your most confident version. Like we talked about last week, sometimes you don't feel it and you kind of got to fake it until you feel it. Like walking to that sales meeting, showing up as your most confident self until you feel it. Or you got to walk into, filming a YouTube video or doing whatever until you feel it. And that could be healing where yes, trying new things, you're gonna feel dumb. Posting that first YouTube video, you're gonna feel dumb. Nobody needs to know that. Fake it till you feel it. If you wanna start a YouTube channel, start talking to your camera and talk to your channel as though you already have 1 million subscribers. If you are giving a presentation at work, walk in as though this is just a regular day for you. You do this like you breathe. If you are approaching someone, you wanna be their friend, act like it's the most normal thing in the world. Like really put your most confident foot forward and you'll start to feel it. And that could be healing around, wow, I did that. And I just want to let you know that evening, the Leo moon is building to square Uranus. So sometimes emotions can be all over the map. You might get restless. You might have been tired in the afternoon and then randomly at night you're singing and dancing around, pretending like you're in a music video, like having the zoomies. Like it could potentially be one of those nights. And those nights are good for the soul. Okay, every so often, listen, rest is important, but pretending you're in a music video, playing your guitar, and pretending like you are performing to Madison Square Garden, grabbing your hairspray and pretending that you're a pop star, like those experiences are good for the soul as well. So honor that. So on Wednesday, May 15th, I want to let you know firstly that at 10:05 a.m., Mercury, the planet of the mind, communication, will shift from Aries to Taurus. And Mercury's been in Aries for a while, an extended amount because of its retrograde. And now with Mercury entering Taurus, we can feel like our thinking, our processing is a little bit more grounded and anchored. Like with Mercury in Aries, we could have found that we were a little bit more impulsive when it came to our language. We were telling people how we really felt. And with Mercury in Taurus, we are taking a more methodical, pragmatic approach to how it is that we communicate. And just knowing, I keep talking about this fresh new energy moving in a new direction. With Mercury in Taurus, there's no rush in making a decision. Like with Mercury in Taurus, allow yourself the space and time to make up your mind on something. And with Mercury in Taurus, it really asks us to water the flowers of our mind, to invest energy into the most healthy way of viewing the world as possible. And this is going to be important because Mercury is building to square Pluto later this week, which sometimes can stomp the flowers of our mind and pull them out, right? With fear and with overthinking. And with Mercury in Taurus, it's important to ground yourself down. If you notice yourself kind of going to obsessive spiral around, okay, let me just breathe. Let me take one step at a time. Because we need to be patient with this experience. There's so few things in life that we know with certainty. Like we don't know what exactly the future holds. I mean, we can look at the transits and have some, surmises on themes that are coming up, but we don't know exactly how things are going to play out. So are you going to feed energy towards the worst case scenario or feed energy towards what will help you proceed? Like with Mercury in Taurus, it's asking, what are you feeding? And does it even take away the inevitable when we fear about the worst case scenario? Like with Mercury in Taurus, it's settling into the uncertainty and just allowing things to progress one step at a time. And that can show up within your connections, just allowing around, this is feeling good. I'm just going to enjoy this present moment rather than freaking out and trying to figure out if you're going to be my best friend forever, or if this is the person I'm going to marry, or if this is meant to be. Let me just be patient in the journey, and let me surrender this need to figure out the worst case scenario. Mercury in Taurus is just allowing yourself to be present within this chapter of your journey. And if you notice, particularly later this week, that your mind starts going to spirals on what could happen or worst case scenario, just gently call yourself back with Mercury in Taurus. Breathe, settle into your physical body, take things one step at a time. Be patient. Allow yourself to work with the information that's presented. With the square to Pluto, there could be this energy around there's something that they're not telling me, or this person is playing me, or this person is just baiting me to go thrifting with them and grab a coffee because they want to make fun of me in person. Like with Mercury squaring Pluto, sometimes we could be paranoid around people's ulterior motives. And like I said, sometimes we do need to honor the data around, yeah, when I hung out with this person, I did feel really, really drained. Honor the data, but also just allow things to develop. Allow yourself to go off what you see, what's physical, what's practical, and proceed with that data. Allow people to reveal who it is that they are. Again, not by you obsessing and hyperfixating, but again, just going off the data around, we hung out, it felt good, I'm learning this about you, this feels good. It's taking things step by step, and that's going to be important because with the building square to Pluto, there can be an energy where you could feel your mind just pulled into this rather dark place around freaking out about people's ulterior motives or worst case scenario, or overthinking this dynamic, or even self-sabotaging yourself from experiences because you feel like the worst case scenario is going to happen. With Mercury in Taurus, leverage this pragmatic energy of Taurus around just grounding down around that's fundamentally unreasonable. Like, why would someone ask me to go grab a coffee and go thrifting if they just want to make fun of me? And obviously, it's like your mind is trying to protect you if you've been hurt. It's trying to scan for data around how you could potentially be hurt again and trying to avoid that. But again, with Mercury square Pluto, you could be self-sabotaging from some really lovely experiences. Like at the vibe check, you almost self-sabotaged yourself out of this amazing thrift and coffee and food and party, day with this new friend because you were letting those fears run rampant, right? So it's just as you notice it, don't guilt yourself, don't obsess, just pull yourself back with Mercury and Taurus. Be here now, take things one step at a time. And I do want to say on the shadow side of this transit, Mercury's in a fixed sign. Let's be real. This is coming from someone who has Mercury in a fixed sign. We could be a little stubborn when it comes to our thinking. Mercury and Taurus, it takes time to come to a decision, but once they come to a decision, my love, it is like set in rock. Like they have their particular perspective. So just being conscious if that does come up within your experience or within your dealings with others. And early that day, we did have the first quarter moon in Leo, which is a callback to last week's Taurus new moon. And at the time of this first quarter moon, we also have Mercury hovering at that 29th degree, which like I said, can make us feel more urgent. And the first quarter moon also can make us feel more urgent. Like we have to do something right now. And if you feel like you need to send this text right now or make the decision right now, like I said, with Mercury and Taurus, a more patient, grounded state of mind is on the way. So perhaps wait for that. Because again, sometimes the best action is doing nothing and letting people show you who it is that they are. Or letting events unfold organically and then choosing to proceed with that data intentionally. Like I notice a lot of people who are intuitive, which a lot of people on this channel are. Everybody is, but obviously if you're drawn to spirituality, there is a certain sharpening of that skill set that we all have, but alas. Oftentimes when you're intuitive and you can feel like something's off, we tend to feel like we need to fill in the blanks around this person's acting weird towards me because of A, B, and C. Like I'm picking up on a vibe and I need to cut them off because perhaps it's because they're still talking to their ex, or this is happening or this is happening. With Mercury entering Taurus later in the day, it's like this energy around, let me be patient. Let me just allow this person's actions to reveal data to me. Let me not try to fill in the blanks. Because sometimes when you pick up on a vibe, you assume the worst, right? Because you're trying to fill in the gaps. You're trying to figure out, why is this person being weird? And that's where the Pluto energy around paranoia, around, is it because this happened? Do they have this ulterior motive? But with Mercury and Taurus, as much as possible, just ground down. It's important to just note that everybody's in their own world, right? Everybody's in their own TV show. You don't know what's really happening. Even if you're intuitive and you could pick up on a vibe, you don't know the intricacies. So try not to feel like you need to step in and be the scriptwriter of that person's TV show and being like, they're treating me like this because of this or what have you. Sometimes you just got to let the season progress. And I say that because with the first quarter moon, sometimes there could be this energy around crisis of action. I need to do something now. Like this calls back the Taurus new moon and sort of tunes in the building story of the Sagittarius full moon, which is on the horizon. And with this halfway point, there could sometimes be this energy around, I need to do something now. I need to make this decision now. We also have, just from a lunar perspective, the moon squared off with Uranus, like after midnight. So sometimes there could be this energy around, I want something different. I need to change up my life. I need to disrupt out of the mold. And like I said, this is a week that's very Uranian. It is around disrupting out of the mold, but ensuring it's not coming from this chaotic place, right? Like, you know, Uranus can be kind of chaotic, but as much as possible, be open to the new while also with all this Taurus energy grounding down into the now. Stay grounded in your decision making this week. And if you don't know, let the story progress with Mercury and Taurus. Let more detail and information be presented to you. And then the closing aspect of the Leo moon is it's square to Jupiter at 9:41 a.m. So you might be feeling a little lazy. You might be wanting to stay in your bed a little longer. You might be feeling a little indulgent, especially since at that point the moon is void until it enters Virgo at 2:33 p.m. And trust me, you'll be in the mood to get to the bag, be productive, be efficient when the moon enters Virgo. So if you need a couple more extra cozy moments in bed, if you need some time to go spend some time in the sunshine to observe the flowers blooming, take that time. Keep in mind, this is the last full week that we have of Taurus season, and the ask of Taurus is to be present, because that first quarter moon was calling back the Taurus new moon, which was around, you know, calling in our most pleasurable, enjoyable timeline. So maybe you're being nudged, like maybe the crisis is showing up around, okay, you planted the seeds around that. Are you taking the time and space to enjoy your life, to enjoy this season of your life? The to-do list will always be there. There will never be a day when all of the tasks are done, when there's nothing that you need to fix around the house, when there's nothing that you need to create or get on top of, or something that you should be doing, a birthday gift you should be shopping for. Like, those things will always exist. Unfortunately, they'll never all be done. But if you want to call in this more Taurus-like energy, enjoying your life, enjoying this season, this might be like intentionally taking the opportunity around, I'm going to take this afternoon off. I'm going to go to the ocean, or I'm going to go to the garden. I'm going to take time and space to enjoy my life. It's so interesting because I know my fellow entrepreneurs likely feel me on this, in that I used to think when I was no longer working my 9 to 5, I was like, I'm going to take mornings off. I'm going to spend more time in nature. But I have been the most restrictive boss I've ever had. Like, I rarely give myself any time off. But I just want to say, for anyone else who relates with that, any other entrepreneurs, Wednesday might be a really lovely time to be intentionally around, okay, I'm going to do my calls after this point, but let me take the morning to go for a walk or to do something indulgent for me, because I'm worthy with the energy of the Leo moon. And trust me, like I said, the moon enters Virgo at 2:33, kicking us into overdrive. It trines its ruler, Mercury and Taurus, at 3:04. So the afternoon is where you want to be taking calls and doing meetings and writing and editing. Like, the afternoon is where it's at. And sometimes when you take those spaces to enjoy your life, you are extra productive when you get back to your tasks. And so that's sort of the vibe that Wednesday is giving. With the energy of Virgo, make your list and feel how good it feels to cross things off of that list. And feel how good it feels at the end of the day where you took time and space to enjoy your day, you got the tasks that you want to get done, and then you make yourself a nice meal and you go for an evening walk. Like, feel how good it feels to both be productive, which the Virgo moon appreciates, but also taking the time and space to enjoy your life, which Taurus season appreciates. So on Thursday, May 16th, we have no major lunar aspects all day. The moon is just floating aimlessly through Virgo. But what I want to say is that the Virgo moon is answering to Mercury in Taurus, who is building to square off with Pluto early on Friday. So you're really going to feel this build on Thursday, because the very nature of Virgo moon is very nervous. It sees the world through the details. So whereas this plan with this new friend on Instagram felt very exciting in the beginning part of the day, you were feeling spontaneous, you were feeling open, you were feeling flattered, this person wanted to hang out with you, you're open to new experiences, you made a plan with Venus sextile Saturn, but now it's getting closer and the energy of Virgo moon is like worried about all the things that go wrong around, what if there's a long line at the coffee shop and we run out of things to talk about, or what if I can't find parking when I'm there? Like, again, like anticipating and scanning for anything that could possibly go wrong. And with the square to Pluto, like assuming the worst case scenario around, I won't be able to find parking. This person's going to think I'm lame. They concocted this whole thing because they want to bully me when I'm there. Like the energy of Virgo can be quite nervous, especially when its ruler is squaring off with Pluto. But the ask of navigating Thursday is really allowing yourself to ground down, okay? Ground down, breathe into your physical body. As a Virgo moon, this is why I'm so passionate about physical movement. I think every Virgo placement needs to get into either some sort of movement, meditation, something, because Virgo straddles being, an earth sign, so it's connected to the physical, but then Mercury ruled, so it's connected to the mental. So it's just honoring the asset that your body is and getting you out of your mind, because at a certain point when Mercury squaring Pluto, these worst case scenarios, they're not even helpful at this point. Like you might be like freaking out around, what if there's not parking there? Like literally knees deep on Google Maps, like looking at the coffee shop, seeing if there's like street parking, ground down, do something that soothes you into your body, try not to let your mind run rampant. With the energy of Mercury square Pluto, where this also could show up is allowing that obsessive energy rather than taking it to Google Maps to try to figure out if this coffee shop has ample parking. Taking this obsessive energy around working on a project. Like with the energy of Virgo moon, this is showing up to attend to all of the little details. With Mercury Pluto, we can really zone in, we can laser focus on it. Mercury's cleared the shadows, so you have full clearance around new ideas, new projects that you want to show up for. And sometimes it really helps to allow your mind to be busy and focused into something, especially if you notice that it's going down these spirals that you're like, no, I don't want to go there. Let me just hyperfixate on fixing my website or writing this poem or whatever it is, because that's more constructive. Like I always say with Pluto energy, Pluto can create or Pluto can destroy. So choose to create. It's just noticing. Again, it's not good thought, bad thought. It's just observing, what am I watering? Like even on Thursday, it might be helpful to just tune in, tap into yourself, and just ask, what am I watering? Like what consciously am I watering at this time? Am I fueling what's exciting or what's making me feel more motivated and progressing forward? Or am I feeding my fears and like worst case scenario? Like what am I building? What am I creating? It might even be helpful to have like alarms on your phone. Some people utilize around like, what are you thinking? Or like take a moment to be grateful. Like sometimes it helps to like snap yourself out of those moments, because you can find you're like knee deep on a Google Maps, like freaking out trying to figure out if the coffee shop has parking, or like deep on Reddit, like asking people, have you ever had somebody who asked you to hang out just to bully you when they got there? Like taking that moment to be like, wait, what am I doing? What am I putting energy towards? And strive to put energy towards what it is that you're creating, what it is that you're building, what it is that you're excited by. Because with the Mercury and Taurus squaring Pluto, it's like this fear of the future and what's looming is like disrupting our enjoyment and our pleasure of the moment. And I think with Taurus season, it's asking us to really just sink divinely and deliciously into this moment and trusting that our future is being aligned for us. And I don't mean that in a disempowering way around give up, it's all, fated, it's all according to the stars, but it's just this energy around, I'll cross that bridge when I get there. If I get there and there's no parking, I'll figure it out when I get there. If we don't vibe, I'll figure it out when I get there. Like sometimes when we try to anticipate every way that something could go, or figure out every way that this person could potentially hurt us, or every way that this business could potentially fail, we lose out so much energy. And it's like, did we even actively keep that from happening? Like probably not. It's really not a very fruitful usage of our energy. And the energy of Taurus is all about working smarter, not harder. Okay. So it's like, really, what is my mind going towards? Like, even if we think about, with Mercury squaring Pluto, like what if the world ends in a week? And you just are hyperfixating around the world's going to end in a week, the world's going to end in a week, the world's going to end in a week. Best case scenario, the world doesn't end, but you just spent the last week freaking out and obsessing and probably just staying in bed, just like rocking back and forth. Worst case scenario, the world did end, but you lost out on your last week on this big and beautiful planet thinking about how the world was going to end. Like a lot of times our fear of the future and our worrying and our obsessing over certain outcomes, it doesn't help us at the end. Like if it's going to happen, it's going to happen. Let's just take it day by day. So on Friday, May 18th, I want to share that shortly after midnight, Mercury will square off with Pluto. So I spoke to this at length yesterday because it is building and it's accentuated as the moon's currently in Virgo. So it's answering to this Mercury square to Pluto. But it's just important to note that in the morning, you might wake up a little nervous. It may be really helpful on Friday to do something that regulates your nervous system. it kind of is giving this energy, especially with Virgo moon opposite Saturn, like when you're really anxious and you don't know why. I swear that's the most uneasy feeling, when you're like, why am I feeling like this? Why can I not breathe? Why is my stomach in knots? And that's where it's important to really have your Taurus season self-care toolkit around the ways that help you ground down. And this doesn't even need to be, you know, taking a yoga class. This could be literally having a spray that you spray in the moments that work gets overwhelming. Like for me at my 9 to 5, I had a little essential oil roller ball that I would put on my wrist when I was starting to feel really overwhelmed, and I would just sniff it. And it was just something that helped me like regulate myself as I was able to, like in an office environment, right? It's not always appropriate to burst into tears at your desk as much as I wanted to when I was in that season of my life, but alas. But I had my rollerball essential oil that helped me just like ground down. It doesn't fix everything, but it helps me get into a calm state of mind in order to do that. Again, maybe this is a walk, maybe this is petting your dog, but just having those things that help ground you down, because there just feels to be something quite uneasy about Friday, particularly in the morning time. It gets more lovely as the day continues, but in the morning time, you could wake up just with a pit in your stomach and not certain of why, or even just waking up, just thinking about all the things that you have to do, or, oh gosh, did I send that email yesterday? And just freaking yourself out. Like, calm down, take things one step at a time. Remember to eat food. I know a lot of times when we're stressed, we could just want to rush into handling it, but sometimes just doing what it is that you need to do in order to ensure that you are able to handle the problems in the most calm, grounded way is showing up for your body, making a nutritious breakfast, you know, moving your body, maybe it's something small, just doing a breathing exercise, doing a quick meditation, having your little essential oil roller balls. Do what you got to do. Show it for yourself first and then show it for the problem, okay? Because oftentimes when we like wake up and we jump right into gotta fix this problem for work or what have you, it kind of allows our day to progress in this very kind of like erratic, scattered way. Definitely an important day to start the day mindfully. And again, with Mercury square Pluto, try not to assume the worst. Try not to assume the worst. It's giving the energy around your boss emails you and you're like, well, I'm fired. Or you have a bad day of sales at your e-commerce and you're like, well, it's obviously going to fail from this point onward. Or you start to feel a weird energy that your friend's giving towards you and you're like, obviously they don't like me anymore. Like I was saying a little bit earlier, like sometimes we try to fill in the gaps with the energy of Pluto obsessing, being very paranoid about all of the ulterior motive or all of the potential reasons why our boss is going to fire us, why this person no longer likes us, why our business is going to fail. And again, through a method of trying to protect us, but like, is it really helping us in any way or fashion? Like Pluto, I just always think of this investigator spy energy where it's like figure out people's intentions and their secrets and things of that nature. Allow things to be revealed in the divine timing that they are meant to be revealed. Okay, protect your peace, call back your energy. You could be burning yourself out mentally trying to like research or just pry into all of this information. And it's like, that was never your role. Like the energy of Taurus, it's like the more that you're researching and obsessing, the less time that you have to eat mangoes under a tree, you know? Life is meant to be enjoyed. So like when you notice you're going down those spirals, listen, it happens. I have Mercury square Pluto in my birth chart. Okay, I get it, but it's just observing, like if hyperfixating on this is bringing me more pain and fear than it is joy, let me call back my energy. It's not going to change the outcome. It's just going to disrupt my peace in the interim. So let me eat some mango underneath a tree. I don't even think mango's in season, but let me eat some seasonal fruit under a tree, right? And enjoy my life. To very practical levels, with Mercury square Pluto, you could feel like someone is like trying to pry information from you. It could make making you feel uncomfortable. Like kind of your warning signs could be going out around, why is this person asking so much information? Again, you might be the nosy one. With Mercury square Pluto asking questions and it's like, do I really want to know? Like, is this going to be conducive for the peaceful garden of my mind to know this information? Like, is it? Like, really ask yourself that before you ask anything. Like, do I want to know the answer? Ask yourself that. Will it be in my highest and best good and for the most peace of my mind to know the answer? Like with Mercury and Taurus, protect your mental peace. So you could be the nosy one wanting to pry in, figure things out. With Mercury square Pluto, there can be some deep conversations. You can feel like your privacy is being violated in some way. You could be paranoid that someone's trying to violate your privacy. With Mercury square Pluto, you can feel like people are trying to boss you around or tell you how to be or tell you what to do, which keep in mind, all this Uranus energy in the air is not going to fly one bit. Like Uranus is very rebellious and we're feeling inclined to like really break out of the mold. So with the energy of Mercury square Pluto, you know, if you're feeling like someone's trying to lord their power over you, you could very well want to explode. Just saying, just warning you about that. Also, like, try not to be so controlling or domineering to other people as well. You know, with the energy of Virgo moon. With the energy of Virgo moon, okay, I'm hurting my own feelings with this. With the energy of Virgo moon answering to Mercury square Pluto, mind your garden. Mind your boundaries. Like, for example, if you're in a committed relationship, don't feel like you have to be worried about their stuff in addition to your stuff. Because sometimes it comes off as very like nitpicky or very critical around you didn't do this or you need to do this. Again, it's probably coming from care, like the energy of Virgo moon. We want to help people, but sometimes it can come across as being critical. Like sometimes you just need to empower people to do what's best for them, because it adds mental burden that you have on yourself, being worried about not only your well-being and your dentist appointments and your, habits, and also being worried about this person's as well. So with Mercury square Pluto, any try to control people or boss people around with language, even if it's from a good place, will likely be met with resistance. So just being conscious of that. The Virgo moon will oppose Saturn around 2:48 a.m., which, like I said, with Virgo moon opposite Saturn, we could just wake up feeling really pessimistic, or like we hit a wall, or there's something stressful. But what I will say is the end of the day is giving a lot more lovely. Could be payday for some. The Virgo moon trines Venus, trines Uranus, trines Sun, trines Jupiter. Ooh, I love being self-employed, but what I will say is those paydays used to hit. Oh my gosh. I swear, you move different going to the weekend when you just got paid. You're like, I just got paid. Let's have a good weekend. Like Friday could be absolutely giving that, because the energy of Taurus is indulgent. We have this Jupiter Cazimi. Like some people could have random, blessings showing up for them, random money showing up for them. You could feel rewarded for the fruits of your labor in some way. That's giving you motivation to continue to progress. Well, I'll say it does feel busy with the Virgo moon opposing Saturn. Your responsibilities, your obligations could be weighing on you. You're being rewarded for it. At least that's what it feels like, with unexpected, gifts or support or money with all of these trines to these Taurus placements. So again, feed not with Mercury square Pluto what's the worst case scenario, and feed what's the best case scenario, right? And be open to receive. Because like we've been talking about with Pluto retrograde, when we stop obsessing over a certain outcome around either I need to know the future, so I know the exact outcome. When we just are very dedicated to the feelings that we want to feel, which again, the Taurus new moon was calling in those energies of pleasure and indulgence. When we're sure on that, but open to the vehicle in which the universe gives those experiences to us, that's when magic occurs, right? When it's like, I would like to feel loved, and being open to, rather than obsessing and trying to like manifest this specific person around, I'm open to anyone who's in alignment with the love that I am calling in. Or I want to feel abundant, rather than being so hyperfixated around, it's got to be this business, being open to however the universe is aligning for it. Like that helps us get out of our own way when we are certain around the how we want something to feel, but open, allowing the universe to surprise you. Because do you really want to know the future and exactly how things play out? Like the energy of Uranus is sometimes it's fun to be surprised. So allow yourself to be surprised by life and by the blessings of life with all of these Taurus trines. On Saturday, May 18th, this is the day that is filled with magic, but magic of the unexpected variety. As today's the day that Venus aligns with Uranus and the Sun aligns with Jupiter. So as I noted before, Uranus does not necessarily indicate good surprises. Like sometimes Venus-Uranus can manifest around an unexpected expense, like my freaking parking ticket. I'm still salty about it. I feel I was in the right. I'm going through disputing it. It's really not that serious. I should probably let it go, but I feel I was in the right. But alas, sometimes energy can manifest as, someone that we care about, behaving differently than we typically expect, right? Sometimes with Venus, Uranus, this can be something unexpectedly coming up around our beauty, right? But I do feel like the Venusian surprises that are in store as it relates to our Saturday are good surprises, because we have the energy of the Jupiter Cazimi that same day. And whenever I say the word Cazimi, it means in the heart of the sun. It essentially means that a planet is completely aligned with the sun, the two fuse and become one. So there is this energy on Saturday around everything is aligning on my behalf. Even if some of these Uranus surprises are like, Haley, Comet, how could things be possibly aligning on my behalf? Someone broke up with me, or how could things possibly be aligning on my behalf? This opportunity didn't work out. It's important that you consciously feed that perspective around everything is aligning for me, because that energy of positivity can be a self-fulfilling fulfilling prophecy. And again, it helps you kind of bob and weave with the unexpected events of life. Like plans get canceled, things don't work out, people change, and the perspective by which we view those events does not ultimately change that outcome. Like you can view that around, this means my life is over, or you could view this around, this must be aligning for me. Like it doesn't change that that's what transpired, but one perspective is significantly more helpful in allowing you to progress forward and allowing you to actively search for the good around whatever transpired. Like this energy reminds me, my friend Naomi and I, we were so excited. We're going to go to the skating event. We really like to roller skate together, and we haven't in like a year. And we found this event. We were super excited. We had all of our plans all aligned. And as we're getting ready to go, we checked the website for something. I don't remember what. It was like dress code or figure out if there would be food there or something. And we see, they didn't say anything to us, but they just put an alert on the website like this event has been canceled. No reason, didn't let us know at all. And we were like, what the heck? What do we do now? Like we had this plan all aligned. And what else could we do? Like we could, I guess, cry in the living room and just like moan that we weren't able to go to the skating event, but we're like, hey, we have a free night, we're together, let's make something happen. Let's look out at the world through this lens of adventure, right? This lens of anything can happen. She's a Sagittarius, and I feel like Sagittarians are so good at that. Like it didn't even faze her. She saw that, she was like, oh, the event's canceled. Do you want to go to this? Like she, you got to know how to pivot. And I remember us like saying to each other, like, there must be a reason, right? There must be a reason why it didn't work out. And you could, say, life is random and meaningless. There's no reason why it didn't work out. It just was what it was. Sure, you can take on that mindset. But like for me and her, she's very Jupiterian, the perspective around, it must have been a reason. Is that indisputably the truth? Maybe, maybe not. But is that a more supportive lens by which to view the situation? Because it helps us figure out, well, if that wasn't meant to be, what is meant to be? Like, let's go on an adventure. Let's figure out what this night is meant to hold. Because I want to say, some people are going to meet people on Saturday. Okay, someone might meet someone significant. The moon's in Libra all day long, answering to that Venus-Uranus. So some of you are going to meet someone that you are not expecting, that you are not anticipating. Someone who's outside the norm of your typical. Say yes to spontaneous invitations on Saturday. Say yes to adventure. Look out at the world through this lens of possibility. If there is something that you currently do not have that you want to call in, get some new stimuli, go to new places, say yes to new people. There's an energy around wanting growth and wanting opportunity to come into our experience. I'm laughing. I don't know why I'm whispering. I don't know why I'm whispering. I feel so awkward. I'm laughing because I'm animatedly here talking. I have my window open, and a neighbor whom I've never seen was looking out of his window, looking at me. Why are you looking at me? This is making me really uncomfortable. But if you watch Magic Monday, you know that oftentimes when something is happening within my reality as I'm talking about the day's astrology, sometimes it weaves in. So again, anything could happen at any moment. Again, I don't feel like that will ever be somebody who's significant in my story, but I think there's an energy around, you never know. You never know when you're just going to be doing your thing and then you make eye contact with someone random or someone new enters your life. Like you just never know. And Saturday is an energy around being open to new opportunities, to like rom-com moments. Like if you've been wanting like a romantic comedy moment where you bump into somebody and you guys lock eye contact, like ask yourself, am I putting myself out there to have rom-com moments? Like am I going to cafes to, look cute and read? And being open to new connections. Like, am I saying yes to parties? Like, if you want connection, sometimes it's helpful to, put yourself out there, especially on Saturday, okay, is what I'm saying. And again, view it not through the lens around, I've got to find my soulmate, or today's a waste. Just see it through the Sun-Jupiter energy around, it's an adventure, right? It's an adventure. And this was the part of the vibe check where it was like this magical hangout, right? And being able to view the world through this Jupiterian lens. Like, I love spending time with people like that. Like Naomi, my friend I was just telling you about, is absolutely that way, where it's like when I'm hanging out with her, it's like this lens around anything could happen. Like we might just drink coffee and go thrift shopping, but it might lead to this and it might lead to this. Like you just never know. Sometimes you go to the coffee shop and the featured drink isn't good. Sometimes it's delightful. Sometimes you go thrifting and you find a ton of stuff. Sometimes you find nothing. Sometimes you go to a party and it's a dud. Sometimes you go and you meet someone significant. Like you just don't know until you try it. And on that note, I just want to say with Venus-Uranus, this was like weaved into the vibe check around, you could absolutely thrift something magical. Okay, with Venus-Uranus Uranus, you could happen upon something rare or novel or disruptive in some way, even weird. You know, with Venus Uranus, you could be wanting to dress weird or break the norm in terms of your typical aesthetic, or even buying something that is new and novel. I want to say in regards to love, like I said, some of you could meet people or even go on like a spontaneous date of some sort. But really with Venus Uranus, allow people the space to be their own person. Like there's this song that I'm hearing within my head, and it's Banks. I'm thinking of the title. I think it's called oh, Gemini Feed by Banks. There's a line that I'm hearing. It says, if you would have let me grow, you would have kept my love. Like it's important within connection, like obviously with the Mercury square Pluto the day prior, like we want to, you know, dive into our partner's psyche and figure out all their intentions and figure out all these things. But first and foremost, your job here being a human being is to show up for yourself and your own growth. And partners, like you can water one another's growth, like not letting this Mercury square Pluto energy of paranoia or control like dip into your connection. Like allow people the space and the grace to be themselves and to have their own growth. Like you guys can meet the different versions of yourself and invest in one another's growth, but it does take that energy of space. Because sometimes with Mercury, Uranus, you know, our partner could be craving space, wanting to do their own thing. And again, with the Mercury square Pluto, like freaking out, reading into that around why are you pulling away? Okay? But again, with Venus, Uranus, and Sun, Jupiter, we're all on our own growth path. We're all on our own journey. And you should never have to compromise your own growth in order to appease another person. And you should never see growth as an enemy within your partnership. Like just allowing people the space and the grace to be themselves, obviously not doing anything disrespectful, but I would say this would be a great day to like water your individual friendships or interests outside of your connections. Or if it's a date night, listen, there's a very romantic energy, a spontaneous date night, something that disrupts the norm. And with Sun, Jupiter aligning midday, I want to say, yes, this is kind of casting this Jupiterian magic over the day, especially with the Sun sextile Neptune. Jupiter sextile Neptune aligns next week, but they're building in the cosmos. This is magic. This is synchronicity. This is things aligning. This is looking out at the world with the glass half full. And again, just even that perspective shift, it's a self-fulfilling prophecy. Like it really is. When you are intentional around looking out the world around, hey, that event was canceled. What other magic are we going to create? Like you are more likely to find magic because that is the expectation. And so with Sun, Jupiter, it's asking you to step into that. I also want to say this is going to be helpful as it relates to confidence, like stepping into your worthiness, like seeing the divinity in who it is that you are. Because again, within the vibe check, you're really beating yourself up around, why would this person want to hang out with me? Or they're going to think I'm so lame, or they're going to follow me when they get home. And with the energy of Sun, Jupiter, it's like remembering who it is that you are. We talked a lot about worthiness last week because it was baked into the Taurus new moon. And then the energy of Sun, Jupiter, it's like, who wouldn't want to hang out with me? Who wouldn't want to thrift and get coffee with me? Again, sometimes Jupiter energy can go towards excess or egocentric, but it's just this energy with Sun, Jupiter, especially with its sextile Neptune, like it's remembering your own divinity. Like think about how your ancestors, your spirit guides, the universe is looking at you when you're in those moments of doubt around who'd want to hang out with me. They're like, you were beautifully and brilliantly crafted. You have a birth chart that is uniquely and authentically your own. You have cells and body parts that are completely dedicated to your survival, and here you are beating yourself up. Like remember who it is that you are. Again, not in this egocentric way, but just in this reminder around this is who it is that I am. I'm worthy of lovely days like this. I'm worthy of looking out at my world through the lens of what could happen. Like I'm worthy of that and really basking in that and allowing that energy to carry you into new experiences. Like if you have moments of doubt before going on a date or going to that party within the vibe check, it's like this energy around Sun, Jupiter. Who wouldn't want to date me? Who wouldn't want to, party with me or hang out with me, right? A lot of times we can get into this energy around like, will they like me? Like, will they accept me? Really step in the energy around, will I like to spend my time with them? Right? It's not saying that you're more important than other people, but it's centering yourself around, hey, I'm the main character of this TV show of my life, and I'm discerning and diligent about where I exert my energy. And I don't need to be validated or approved by every single person. I don't need to be liked by everybody. I don't need every date that I go on to want to marry me right away. It's about finding the right person for me and stepping into my own authenticity with the energy of Uranus, emboldening the ways that I'm different, rather than conforming around, let me be other people want me to be. It's just stepping into this energy around, this is who I am, and magnetizing the right people, environments, situations that are a match to that. Because so many times, if it's not a match, we feel like it's something wrong with us. Like we went on a date, it didn't work out. We're like, I must not have been pretty enough. But sometimes it's just not the right fit, and that's okay. Your job is to just continue showing up being you. The circumstances will align in magical ways as they're meant to. So from a lunar perspective on Saturday, the Virgo moon opposes Neptune around 2 a.m. So dreams could be interesting. But for the majority of Saturday, the moon is transiting Libra. It's very Venusian in the air right now. We've got a Taurus sun, we've got a Libra moon. We're wanting to enjoy our life, and we're open to new. Like this could show up, yes, around new connections, new hangouts, but also making new food, trying new activities. Like there's this energy around wanting to do things that feel good. And with the energy of Uranus, going for a new hike, being open to a new workout class, like new vehicles for pleasure and enjoyment and love to come your way. And with the energy of the Libra moon all day, there definitely is a desire to harmonize, to partner. The trine to Pluto, we can be favoring depth within our connections. We can be having deep talks with somebody, or just really wanting to balance ourselves out if things got a little off balance with that Mercury square Pluto, like around, okay, how do I bring myself back to logic? Like maybe I spent a lot of Friday with that Mercury square Pluto around obsessing over the worst case scenario and, looking at Google Maps at the parking and deep on Reddit, like looking for advice on the situation. With the energy of Libra moon, trine Pluto, it's stepping into your power around, okay, logically, that's not going to happen. Logically, let's take this one step at a time. Like air is our ability to see out of a situation around, in the big picture, it's going to be okay. On Sunday, May 19th, at 3:45 p.m., the Taurus sun will sextile Neptune in Pisces, which does drizzle a little magic into our Sunday. What I do want to say is that tomorrow, Gemini season begins. So the sun is currently hovering at the 29th degree, which, like I said, sometimes can create urgency, and not so much urgency of a communicative nature like Mercury earlier in the week, but definitely with the sun at the 29th degree of Taurus, perhaps of a hedonistic variety, like really wanting to indulge and shop and eat and drink, just really having this energy of more, more, more. Keep in mind, the spirit of excess is in the air. The sun aligned with Jupiter yesterday, sun sextiles Neptune, which sometimes can bring in some escapism themes. So there definitely is an ask to enjoy your weekend, enjoy your life, stay open to unexpected blessings and unexpected experiences. But I would say with the energy of the Taurus sun at the 29th degree, don't feel like you have to buy everything right now, or that you need to eat everything right now, or what have you. With the energy of the sun at the 29th degree, don't feel like you have to buy everything right now or indulge in everything right this second. But what I will say is the Taurus moon sextiles Neptune. So it's reminding yourself who it is that you are in a very kind of spiritual lens around however it is that you reconnect with who it is that you are. Like we all go through seasons of life where we're like, what's the point? And with the energy of sun sextile Neptune, it's being intentional around engaging with the crafts or with the art that reminds you who it is that you are, or just helps you reconnect with certain parts of yourself. Like again, you could do this through books, like books that you reread, or it's just like there's something within your soul that just feels embedded within this book that whenever you're going through it, when you reread this book, it's like re-accessing that part of yourself. Or maybe it's a certain sacred spot in nature that you revisit to that reminds you of the beauty of life. Maybe it's a certain album that you listen to that has been so instrumental in your growth that just brings you back to the magic of this experience. Or rereading about your birth chart, right? To remind yourself of the human that you are. It's engaging with these crafts or with these environments or with these works of arts for the purpose of returning you to your life force energy, making you feel more confident and more creative to be the person that you are and to proceed. Like with the Jupiter energy, there is this ask for growth. Mercury is a new territory of the sky. We're moving forward. And with sun sextile Neptune, sometimes engaging with art or with spirituality gives us confidence in the next step of our journey in moving forward. Again, we could debate all day long around the universe and what happens when we pass away and if astrology is real or whatever else you want to argue about. We could argue about that all day. Like, again, there are so many things in life that we do not know, but it's all about what helps my perspective of this world. Because I will say for me personally, when I've worn the perspective around life is meaningless and there's just nothing out there, that was not conducive for me creating the results within my life that made my life enjoyable. Like for me, my life is so much more enjoyable when I view things through the lens around I am part of this big universe. I have a particular purpose here. My job is to show compassion and kindness and to bring magic into people's lives. Like, You could argue like that's not true, that's not the objective truth, but to me, that is the lens by which I view the world because it makes it a much more enjoyable place to live in, and it helps me excavate more of my gifts. I even think in my study of astrology, and I maybe wouldn't have gotten the courage to, start a YouTube channel had I not seen that I had this particular transit coming up, and I was like, why not? Why not co-create with the cosmos? Why not interact with my life as though it is magical and that is happening for me and not against me? Because I think that is the perspective that helps you really tap into the magic that is this experience, and that is your soul via being the person that you are. So that energy is alive within Sunday, but I do want to say that the Libra moon opposes Mars in Aries around 8:48 a.m., which could be this energy around, should I advocate for myself, should I stand up for myself, or should I keep the peace? With these two, you also could be feeling a little indecisive around where should I invest my energy? Should I do this? I could go to the mall, I could hang out with this person, like a lot of potentials for your day, not being sure where you should invest your energy. Again, there can be this oscillating energy in terms of your just physical vitality overall, feeling more drained, feeling more defeated. And then the Libra moon will oppose Chiron in Aries later that night, which again can just be a little bit of an ouch. There could be something that comes up within a connection that's a little bit of an ouch, like with Venus, Uranus still separating in the cosmos. Sometimes when someone is putting energy towards their own hobbies, or they're spending time with their friends, or they're trying a new look that you don't recognize, it's natural within partnership to want to keep people within the version that you met them. But again, it's like we're all on the growth path. As we show up for our growth, we have to allow the people within our life to grow as well. So my loves, that is our week. The Magic Monday mantra of the week is I attract and expect miracles. This week, with Sun aligning with Jupiter and Sun sextile Neptune, it's important to step into this energy that the universe is aligning for you. Even with the Uranus energy, if things look less than ideal to a surface level, an event gets canceled, something doesn't work out, continuing to affirm, I expect miracles. The universe is working on my behalf. If not this, something better. I allow the universe to support me. Again, investing in that perspective will be a self-fulfilling prophecy, and you just never know how the universe is conspiring to support you and support your dreams and support your aims and to support your ambitions. I could sit here for truly 2 more hours here in this cosmic corner telling you about all of the miracles that I have seen woven into my own experience, as well as woven into my clients' experiences, into my loved ones' experience. This world is a miraculous, beautiful place. And again, I know some of us, when we're going through something really intense, it's hard to believe in that. But even if you just have to reach for the slightest glimmer, the slightest sparkle around what if the universe is conspiring to allow everything to work out on my behalf, reach for that. And again, we're wrapping up Taurus season, so just take it one step at a time. Maybe today it's a glimmer, maybe tomorrow it's a sparkle, and maybe by day 3 it's a disco ball. Of hope guiding us forward. So my loves, that is our Magic Monday this week. Of course, we'll be back next week, same time, same place, meet you in the Cosmic Corner with likely a new cosmic beverage in tow. But before I let you go, if you made it to the end of the video, go ahead and comment below the disco ball emoji, or use the word disco ball within a sentence to let me know that you made it to the end. My Instagram handle is @HaleyCometAstrology. My TikTok is the same. I would so love to connect with you over there. And until we meet again, drink lots of water and stay cosmic.